So there's a lot of excitement in the Fortnite community right now. We got Fortnitemares coming up next week. We got a live event dropping this week, and another one at the end of Season 4. Not to mention Fortnite OG right after that, and of course, Fortnite Chapter 6, which I'm assuming there should be a live event that ties OG into the new chapter as well. I feel like this time of year is the best time to play Fortnite because there's always so many different events and things going on, but specifically when it comes to the live events, that's what's important in today's video because this is what's going to be tying everything together. This is something that I've been thinking about since Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 4, and even in my first Fortnite storyline theory video that I came out with at the start of this season, I actually started laying down the seeds for what I thought this theory was going to be, but I wanted to wait to give it until about Fortnitemares because I wanted to see what direction Epic was going to go with the game. I think I figured out how Fortnite is going to transition us into OG, but I also think I figured out how OG is going to turn into Chapter 6. And it's all centered around this idea of Mephisto. Now, for my Fortnite storyline fans and my Marvel fans, or even if you're just a casual Fortnite player who enjoys the game, I think this is going to really intrigue you. The first thing that everybody needs to understand is that Dr. Doom being on the Fortnite Island has more significance than just him having ties to the storyline from the old chapters of Fortnite. From a narrative standpoint, yes, it's cool and also makes sense that he would want to return to the island to take claim of the 0 Point and take control of the Omniverse, but outside of that, there's something else happening in the background. See, one huge aspect of Dr. Doom's character is that he has a really interesting relationship with Mephisto. As some of you may know, as great as Dr. Doom is and as much as he's into science, he's also into the mystic arts, and that's because of his mother. Dr. Doom's mother was actually a sorceress who sold her soul to Mephisto, and ever since that moment, Dr. Doom has been trying to find a way to fuse science and mysticism together as a way to combat Mephisto and get his mother's soul back. In my previous Fortnite storyline video, I talked about how the pillar outside of Doom's castle actually looked like it was a place that was designed to either hold or summon Mephisto, probably both. Now that Doom has absorbed the power of Pandora's box, I think that Dr. Doom is actually going to try to subjugate Mephisto to do his bidding and ultimately give him his mother's soul back. Also, remember some of the leaks that we've just seen for the Fortnitemares event. Mephisto is actually a NPC that we can interact with on the island. And what's interesting is we can actually give a portion of our health to Mephisto in order to obtain certain features or mechanics in game. Now, believe it or not, I think there is a storytelling narrative reason for this. One thing about Mephisto that's interesting is that he feeds off the suffering of other people. So if he's on the Fortnite Island consistently doing transactions with thousands, if not millions of players, selling a part of their HP to obtain augments, new weapons, or even reviving their teammates, that might actually in turn build up his strength and his energy to fight back Dr. Doom. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. At the time of you watching this recording, the live event has either already happened or you have 2 hours until the start of the live event. Which, by the way, if you're watching the recording on the day that it comes out, I could be streaming right now. After this video is done, drop by, say hi, let me know how you enjoyed it. One of the big things for this live event is Hope fighting Dr. Doom. We know that there's going to be some kind of rallying of the troops, potentially with a cutscene, and Hope and Dr. Doom are going to be going at it, probably with the help of Jonesy. Now, there's been all this theorizing about whether or not Jonesy's gonna die and pass the baton on to Hope. I haven't given my opinions on this yet, but I don't believe that Jonesy's actually gonna die in this first event. I think they're gonna wait till the second one, the one that leads into Fortnite OG, and that's where you're gonna see Mephisto really come into play. But once again, getting a little ahead of myself here. Now, so far I've been laying down all these different breadcrumbs. Okay, so Dr. Doom and Mephisto have a unique relationship. Mephisto is on the Fortnite Island. He feeds off of human suffering. Jonesy might be dying, and Mephisto might be the cause of that. But Clark, how does this all tie together? And more importantly, how does this get us to Fortnite OG? Well, my theory all ties around a concept that was presented in one of the old Spider-Man comics, One More Day. And for my Marvel fans, you might know where I'm going with this. For those of you who might not know much about Marvel outside of the movies, there is so much more depth to the stories of these characters in the comics. That's what a lot of the movies are based on. Even Spider-Man No Way Home was actually based on the One More Day comic. See, in the Marvel 616 main comic universe, that's the universe that's actually intersected with the Fortnite storyline a couple of different times. Spider-Man actually gave up his marriage to Mephisto. Now, at first glance, that statement sounds really weird. What do I mean by that? Basically, it went down like this. In the Spider-Man One More Day comic, his Aunt May actually passed away. Spider-Man, feeling so much remorse and regret, went on this journey to try to figure out a way to bring his aunt back to life. This eventually led him and his wife at the time, Mary Jane, to come into contact with Mephisto, and they struck a deal. Mephisto told them if they gave up their marriage, he would make it to where, 1, nobody remembered that Peter Parker was Spider-Man because in continuity at that time, Peter Parker had actually given up his identity. And number 2, Aunt May would be revived. Reluctantly, they agreed, but what this proves is that Mephisto has the power to alter reality. Basically, Mephisto rewrote the Marvel timeline to where Spider-Man and Mary Jane never got married, Aunt May never died, and also no one knew the Spider-Man was Peter Parker. One of the things Mephisto told them was that he feeds off the suffering of others. Although Mary Jane and Peter Parker wouldn't have any memory of their pre-existing life and their marriage together, part of their souls would, and their souls would be in agony forever as long as they were separated. Now, I'm not going to get into all the nerdy specifics of how this affected Spider-Man and how much the fans hated this afterwards. If you want to go check that out, you can go watch Comics Explained or Comic Story, and any of the big comic book YouTubers, they can go into full detail on how that affected like the Marvel universe at that time and moving forward. But specifically, I want to focus on how this affects the Fortnite storyline. And now that you have a bit of context into Mephisto's power, I think you see where I'm going with this. I think after this upcoming live event, Hope and Jonesy are going to fail. I think Dr. Doom is going to rock their crap. They're not going to stand a chance against Dr. Doom. He won't be defeated. Now, it's going to be really funny if today, when this video comes out and everybody watches this, Dr. Doom's defeated and this did not happen at all, and it's just Hope and Jonesy kicking it on the island, throwing a really big party. That's going to be very strange. So I hope that I'm not wrong, but we'll find out what happens. At any rate, if I'm a betting man, I think that Jonesy and Hope are going to lose, but they'll still be alive. Second live event is where things are going to get crazy. I think Mephisto is going to strike a deal with Hope and Jonesy, but the deal is that Jonesy has to give up his soul in order to rewrite the Fortnite timeline. Jonesy's tired, he doesn't feel like fighting anymore, and to give his mentee Hope a better chance at life, he's going to sacrifice his and let her live on in a new, rearranged Fortnite Chapter 2 timeline. Mephisto, after feeding off all the suffering of the people on the Fortnite Island that have come to contact with them over the course of Fortnitemares, as well as Hope suffering from having to lose Jonesy, has more than enough power to combat Dr. Doom and rewrite history. This is how we get to the Fortnite Chapter 2 OG Island. Now, I want to say, if I'm wrong, that's totally fine, but you can't tell me that would not be a really dope way to tie everything together. Paying respect to Marvel's history, paying respect to the Fortnite universe, I just think it would be neat to kind of tie the whole story together like that narratively. But you know what's even more interesting? There is a deeper, more meta narrative that would be tied together if this ends up being the case. Just like Donald Mustard had to pass the baton to Charlie Wynn, and now Charlie Wynn's the one taking over the story. I think that Hope taking the place of Jonesy, narratively speaking, is a reflection of that. It's a type of that real world, real life event. And it's also symbolic of Charlie Wynn and his characters being at the forefront of the story moving forward. I think Charlie Wynn will always have some level of respect for what Donald Mustard has done and will always play around with some of the concepts, even potentially bringing the Seven and the Last Reality back to some degree. But I think that Hope being the focus of the story moving forward might be the direction that it needs to go. Now, I'm not saying that I want Jonesy to die or that Jonesy needs to go somewhere. Quite frankly, there's always going to be a way to bring him back because you have the concept of snapshots. But I do think it would be an interesting narrative choice if we make Hope the new focus and the new main protagonist of Fortnite and let Jonesy kind of run off into the sunset a little bit, kind of fade away into existence. The only thing that sucks is if it is because he lost his soul to Mephisto, well, now his soul will be in torment for all of eternity. And that is definitely not a happy ending for Jonesy. However, maybe that'll be Hope's new goal, is to find a way to get Jonesy back. Regardless, we're now in the Fortnite Chapter 2 OG timeline. Now, a few months ago, I made a theory video on how I thought that would transition us into Fortnite Chapter 6. However, with the recent leaks coming out, I realized that that theory is no longer plausible. I was hoping that we would go all the way up to Chapter 2 Season 8 and have another end event where the island flips over, and that would take us back to the OG Fortnite Island, but it looks like we're only going to be going up to the first 3 seasons of Chapter 2. If that's the case, I think Midas is going to play a big role when it comes to the transition between OG and Chapter 6. I think OG Chapter 2 will ultimately end with a device event all over again. However, this time, I think Midas will actually figure out a way to fully push the storm back, which in turn will alter the 0 point. It will cause the 0 point to spaz out like it did in the original Chapter 2 event. And this time, it will take us to a new Fortnite Island, the new Chapter 6 island. But that begs the question, what does that island look like? I have a feeling that it might be a hodgepodge of either the Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 island, or maybe the Chapter 2 and the Chapter 3 island. I think it's going to be some kind of fusion. I honestly think that Fortnite Chapter 6 is going to bring back a lot of the old things that we love about Fortnite. And as a matter of fact, before Fortnite Chapter 6 drops, my next video, I want to talk about 5 things that I think Epic Games needs to bring back to Fortnite Chapter 6. But until then, I love y'all. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought about this video. I'm gonna be real, I'm probably wrong about all of this. Next season's probably gonna be just like Dr. Sloan coming in with a time machine and reality being distorted and we get transferred to the island. It's not going to be any of this Mephisto stuff. It is crazy character development. I just like making these videos for y'all. I want to know what y'all think about this theory. I think it'd be cool if they went this route, but I highly doubt this will actually be the case. But if they do, I called it here first. I love y'all. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.